That moment of terror was not my weakness. It was my beginning. And the transformation from that scared young lawyer to someone who could confidently handle any challenge did not happen because I was brilliant or tough. It happened because some wonderful people believed in me when I could not believe in myself.
Welcome to the Free Lawyer Podcast. I'm your host, Gary Miles.
40 years ago, I stood in a courthouse bathroom, Baltimore City, Maryland. Very old, dingy courthouse. My hands were trembling as I thought about what lied ahead of me. Fresh from a federal clerkship, armed with every academic credential one could ever want, but I was terrified. Across from me, one of Baltimore's most feared courtroom warriors, one of the most successful plaintiff's attorneys in all of Maryland with decades of experience. But here's what I discovered that day and what I wish every lawyer knew. That moment of terror was not my weakness. It was my beginning. And the transformation from that scared young lawyer to someone who could confidently handle any challenge did not happen because I was brilliant or tough. It happened because some wonderful people believed in me when I could not believe in myself. And today I want to share the mentor's gift, how the right people in your corner can transform not just your practice, but your entire relationship with being a lawyer. Let's talk about the hidden struggles so many of us face in the legal profession. The ABA had a study out some years back, probably most of you are familiar with it, that lawyers experience psychological distress at much higher rates than other professions. The rate of self-reported substance abuse is 25 to 33%. Similar rates for clinical depression and anxiety. Actually, hard to believe, but 11.9%, I think it is, lawyers self-reported that they had suicidal thoughts during the year before. And what I've learned is that our success does not automatically quiet the internal critic. You could win a string of cases in a row and yet have one setback and that all shatters. I know that happened to me. I won a whole bunch of cases in a row, and then when I lost one, I began to doubt ourselves. And one of the biggest problems in our profession is loneliness. It does not seem like a solitary field, does it? We may work in a law firm with 100 other lawyers or with 10 other lawyers, but we feel alone. We don't feel comfortable in talking with them or sharing our experience, our concerns, our fears. Or we might be a solo practitioner and not truly have anyone to talk to and not have connected with other attorneys where we feel safe in sharing where we are. And so many of us struggle with perfectionism. And it actually is certainly not a virtue, it's a prison. It restrains us because we're afraid to let go of that pleading because we think if we may look at it one more time, maybe we'll find something wrong. Or we're afraid to take on that case because we're not sure we're good enough to handle it. And perfectionism, loneliness, all of those can really affect our self-confidence. And one of the best ways to overcome it is mentorship. And there's so many varieties of what mentorship can look like. Sometimes your mentor may be a peer. You may share things in common. You may like each other. You may have gone to law school together or been on a bar association committee together. And you decide to have lunch every month just to talk, and you become friends. And maybe you play a sport together or go to barbecues at each other's homes, but you become friends and you know, like, and trust each other. And you can figure it out together. You can talk about your shared experiences and learn from them. Another great example of mentorship is co-counseling with someone not in your firm. And I had that wonderful opportunity late in my career with a law school classmate from 40 years earlier, where we decided to work together on a mold property damage case, a big case, but a mold property damage case. One kind of case that neither of us knew anything about, even though we're experienced lawyers, and we worked together, very different from each other, but we got an incredible result, triple what our settlement demand had been. And we had fun. We had different styles. We could lift each other's spirits. We could learn from each other. And that's another type of mentorship support. And of course, then there's the formal program of engaging a mentor to work with you. And you will know that that's what I do now. I coach and consult with lawyers. We meet on a regular basis. I'm available to them by text and by phone in between meetings. They're never alone. They obtain my support. And we build a real connected relationship, and those relationships continue for quite some time. And there's also, natural mentorship relationships. For me, I decided 15 years ago when I was 54 to create a whole new practice area. I decided to become a family lawyer to handle high-level divorce and custody cases. Never done that before, but I decided that's what I wanted to do. And so David Silverberg, who had been a lawyer in Baltimore County for quite some time, took me under his wing. He graciously and generously gave of his time and his expertise to me. He helped me not only have pleadings and forms, but how to handle those unusual questions that come up in divorce cases. And not too long thereafter, I had built a budding and successful family law practice. So there are all kinds of mentorship that you could take care of. Connecting with a peer, co-counseling with someone, finding a senior lawyer who is happy to guide you and coach you, or engaging with a coach like me. And they all work for you. What can a mentor give you? One way is a new way to see failure. I tried this age discrimination case in federal court in Baltimore. I actually didn't try it. The other side filed a motion for summary judgment. I had a good case. I had a lot of inferences my way. I thought I wrote an incredibly good opposition to the motion for summary judgment. The judge granted summary judgment. And I was shocked. And what my senior partner, who was one of my mentors, had me see is that's what happens in court. We later learned that judge had granted summary judgment for the employer in every discrimination case he ever had. So it really was not a failure. It was just an experience. And it's what happens to we lawyers. You win some and you lose some. Another gift of working with a mentor is the permission to be human, to realize it's okay to make mistakes. You can still be an excellent lawyer. You can still be a successful lawyer, but you can't be a perfect lawyer. And I find my clients benefit because they know how much I believe in them, their potential, their skills. And I can see in them a vision of what they can be as a lawyer. I can see in them, for example, the possibility that they could create their own firm and be incredibly successful when they're not able to see that in themselves. And that's what my mentor did for me. David showed me I could be a successful family lawyer when I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Your mentor can also be a safe person to get real and genuine, authentic about your fears and your doubts and your worries and your concerns and your inadequacies. You can open up and share in confidence those thoughts that you don't share with anyone else. You can be held accountable in a loving, kind way when you're not living up to your potential or when you're not doing those things that you wanted to do to move your career forward. You can get advice about challenging issues in your practice when you don't know where else to turn. And when you're have that day where everything's gone wrong, you can reach out to your mentor and say, I need some help. I need some guidance. I at least need someone to listen to me. So many benefits of working with a mentor. And I was blessed to have two mentors in my firm. Dick Lurch was one of the best litigators in the state of Maryland. And he was a gentleman. He was humble. He was warm. He was always present with the person he was speaking to, truly authentic. And he was the kind of person that when you spoke to him, you always went away feeling better. And he taught me how to be humble, how to be present, how to be warm, how to be genuine. And Joe Huseman, his partner for many years, He was a Marine. He went through incredibly scary, challenging battles in Korea. And as you would expect, he had fierce courage. He had incredible commitment, a passion for serving his clients without worrying what other people thought of him. He never worried about that. And from both of them, I learned so many things, and they're completely different perspectives, but both benefited me to become the lawyer that I ultimately became. And different mentoring styles can really work for you. What does it look like to be a good mentee? How can you get the most from a mentorship relationship? Well, the first tip I have is to not be defensive. If you get feedback or constructive suggestions, hear them with curiosity, with openness, but without being too defensive. Ask searching questions that will let you know how your mentors think and make their decisions. When you start working with your mentor, set up front what you're looking for. What are you trying to gain from this relationship? And what boundaries, if any, do you want to set? And when you get advice or guidance, follow through on it. It's not just someone patting you on the back and say, go get them, but it's actually setting a game plan for your success. And your following through can really make a difference. So I hope you find some of these thoughts helpful. When you look to find your mentor, be clear on what you're looking for. Find someone with the age and experience that you're looking for, with the wisdom, but also someone who you're completely compatible with. And think about someone whose approach and values you admire. Because I learned that mentorship has been so helpful to me in so many different ways during my career, and I've seen how helpful it is to my clients. You know, that scared young lawyer in the hallway of the Baltimore City courthouse became someone who ultimately won 12 cases in a row. I handled complex federal litigation, and today I help other attorneys discover their own confidence. But none of that happened in isolation. You know, the mentor's gift isn't just about receiving. It's about the beautiful cycle of giving it forward. Dick Lurch and Joe Huseman touched lives they'll never know about through what they gave me. And someday, sooner than you think, you will be that person for someone else. You don't have to worry if you're worthy of this gift. You absolutely are. The only question is, are you ready to accept it? Are you ready to act on it and pass it on? See, your confidence is not something you have to earn through perfect performance. It's waiting to be received through the wisdom and care of people who've walked this path before you, who've shared this journey. And when you find those people, and trust me, you will, everything changes. And my final thought is, don't be afraid to ask for assistance. You'd be happy to help another lawyer, another younger lawyer, and other lawyers are happy to help and support you. If you are ready to stop wrestling with self-doubt all by yourself, and to start building that kind of confidence that transforms your entire practice, I'd love to talk with you. You can either visit my website, garymiles.net, and schedule a courtesy coaching call there, or you can schedule one through the link in the show notes. I would love to explore with you together how mentorship and the right support can unlock the lawyer you are truly meant to be. Thank you so much for being with me here today. And as always, please be free, be safe, and be well. Thank you.